Hi guys, Courtney here with Renewal Logistics, your favorite apparel-focused 3PL. Just wanted to share with you some information today about ReCommerce programs. This video is really going to cover the three different parts of what a ReCommerce program includes. But before I get into those three parts, I wanted to just share with you just a little bit of information about what a ReCommerce program is and why they're valuable. So first of all, a ReCommerce program is where a brand, a well-known brand, will actually turn around and sell their same product, but not as new anymore, so as used or previously loved. And a lot of companies have been very interested in creating a ReCommerce program because of the fact that it shows that they have they're supporting environmental commitment. But companies have also been concerned about it because they're concerned it would dilute their revenue and dilute their brand. And so what I mean by that is if you have an item that's going to sell for $100 brand new, and then you can go on the same website and you can buy the same item that's used or slightly used for half price, is the brand actually going to lose out on the revenue of selling the brand new item? What companies are actually finding is that number one, brand loyalty is becoming so much stronger when they offer these programs because the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha are just so concerned and committed to making sure that they're using ethical vendors that are putting the environment first. But secondly, companies are finding that they are actually adding to their client base or their customer base rather than diluting their revenue. And so to make sense of that, someone who is going to buy something brand new from a website is probably a little bit of a different customer than someone who is doing vintage shopping. And so they're actually attracting new customers very often if they're adding that ReCommerce program to their website. And then a third, of course, is the fact that these items are being kept from being put into the landfill. And so not only are you showing that you have environmental stewardship, but you're actually promoting and doing environmental stewardship. So I think those are just three notes about what a ReCommerce program can bring to your brand. What are the three components of a ReCommerce program? So first of all, goods that are going to be considered for a ReCommerce program are going to come from two places. They're going to come from returns, and then they're going to come from customer take-back programs. And so these are goods that are no longer probably in perfect quality just the way that they are at that moment, and they're going to need some additional help. And so the grading process is the first component of a ReCommerce program, and that is basically determining what that item needs. So is the item a high enough quality item to where if it was cleaned and repaired and alterations were done, there's an investment into that item. Is it going to make sense to make that investment so that it can be put onto your website for your ReCommerce program? If it's a $5 t-shirt and it's going to require $10 worth of additional services in order to make it resellable again, that's probably not the best use for that garment, right? So the grading process helps to determine what is the right path for that item moving forward. So you may have first quality, you may have an item that should be considered second quality, and that would be sold in a secondary channel to a company like TJMAXX or Ross or some off-price seller. And then you have the ReCommerce, which is going to be more goods that truly do have that brand value going onto your website. And then you have other, which would include things like upcycling, recycling, and downcycling, which we'll talk about in a minute. The second step in a ReCommerce program is the refurbishment element. So again, like we were talking about in the grading, you don't want to spend more money on an item to prepare it for sale than you're actually going to be able to generate in revenue. So, those are things that are taken into account with every single item that we would touch. And we actually have a 86,000 square foot dry cleaning facility in Atlanta. I think we're the largest 3PL, I don't know of any other 3PLs that actually have a dry cleaning facility like that. But we spend a lot of time on the refurbishment process for our clients where we handle their returns. And we handle, global brands, we handle the returns for these global brands. And so a lot of times these items are going to really just need to be steamed, put into a new poly bag with a new bag tag. But as I mentioned in another story before, if a client receives an item back that truly is first quality, like there's really nothing wrong with it, it's not damaged, but it's just packaged in a way to where it just looks kind of terrible, they're not going to feel like it is first quality. So, it's really important to make sure that you have the right presentation to your customer for anything that is going to be considered first quality. Second quality is going to be sold for probably pennies on the dollar, so you really don't want to spend a lot of time on the refurbishment process for those items. You want to get them to the point to where the off-price seller has agreed to accept them, and nothing more, nothing. Refurbishment for ReCommerce items is usually going to be a little bit more extensive. Those items are going to have to probably be cleaned, because if you think about it, a lot of goods are coming from customer take-back programs. And so, if you have a pair of vintage Levi's, for instance, that have been worn since the 70s, you want to make sure they're clean before you send them on to the next person that's buying them. In terms of items that are going to be upcycled, you would have some possibly remanufacturing to happen there. So changing out brand labels, in some cases, recently we had an upcycling project where we took men's dress shirts and turned them into women's open back crop top blouses. So, there's a whole process that goes into that as well. So the refurbishment element is the second part of a ReCommerce program. The third element of a ReCommerce program is going to be the disposition. So where are these items going to go after the refurbishment has happened? First quality, it's going to go back to stock, so it can be resold as new again. Second quality is going to go to, like I said, one of these partners that it would be an off-price buyer. ReCommerce is going to go back onto your website. You may also be able to do some donations with goods that didn't quite make the mark, and then you have upcycling, which we talked about as kind of like the changing an item into something completely new and different. You also have downcycling, which is Madewell is a great example. They have a ReCommerce program where they will do a customer take back and give you $10 for any pair of jeans that you bring back to their location. You receive a credit, and then that will go to your next order of a brand new pair of jeans. So a lot of those items are not going to be able to be resold on their website. So what do they do with those items? They actually have a partnership with Habitat for Humanity, and they will grind those jeans down into fibers, which will then be used for insulation in the homes that are built by Habitat for Humanity. So that's a great example of downcycling. And then finally, you have recycling, which is taking items that are in a current form, like a blouse or a shirt or whatever the case may be, and breaking them back down into their simplest components. So that may be cotton fibers, and it may be polyester pellets. And that's kind of cutting edge technology that a lot of companies are really working on very hard right now. Those are some of the different elements that are involved in a ReCommerce program. Would love to talk with you more if you have any interest in one of these programs. We're actually pretty selective with who we choose to support when it comes to ReCommerce programs. So if we're not the right fit for you, I have a lot of friends in the industry that are, and I would love to be able to help you find the right fit so that you can implement one of these ReCommerce programs in your own business. I think that you'll find, again, a lot of brand loyalty that comes from showing your commitment to the environment and showing your commitment to your children's future. So hopefully this was beneficial for you. And again, reach out if you have any questions, and please don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thank you.